Hello and welcome back to Travel to Greece. In our last episode of the Northern Sporadis series, we discussed the nature-filled island of Alonissos. Today we move on to the final island in the group and the most mysterious in all of Greece, Skyros. Nestled in the middle of the Aegean Sea, Skyros resides with quiet beauty untouched by really any form of tourism. With a population of around 3,052 people and being the size of San Francisco, I can still almost guarantee that you haven't heard of it. The north half of the island is fully green, however the southern half is completely barren with almost no one living there. Skyros has big ties to mythology, with Achilles allegedly hiding there with his mother. It even has legends of vampires and the grave of British poet Rupert Brooke, and, as I found out today, an international airport. Let's discuss the top 6 things to see and do now, shall we? Number 6. The Horses of Skyros. The horses of Skyros are one of the rarest and most enchanting breeds in the whole world, small in stature but rich in history. Native only to this island, these miniature horses have roamed in rugged landscapes for thousands of years, possibly since ancient times when they were depicted in Athenian friezes and coins. Standing just under a meter tall, they're known for their gentle temperament, strong build, and thick manes that give them a wild, almost mythical appearance. Unlike ponies, they have proportions of full-sized horses, just scaled down. For centuries, they've lived freely in the southern part of the island, cared for by locals who saw them as part of Skyros' soul. Today, conservation efforts, like those at Mourias Farm, are working to protect the dwindling population, which has dropped to fewer than 200. Meeting these horses is like stepping into a living legend where nature, culture, and history quietly converge. Number 5. Castro. Perched high above Skyros town, the Castro is a striking medieval fortress that has watched over the island for centuries. Built on ancient foundations, it blends Byzantine and Venetian influences, reflecting the island's layered history. The climb up is steep but rewarding. Once you reach the top, you're greeted by sweeping views of the Aegean Sea, terracotta rooftops, and the winding alleys of Hora below. Within its walls lie the monastery of St. George, founded in the 10th century, and still a place for quiet reverence. The Castro isn't just a relic, it's a living symbol of Skyros' resilience, having survived invasions, earthquakes, and time itself. Walking through its ruins, you can almost hear echoes of warriors, monks, and villagers who once called it home. It's a place where myth and memory intertwine, offering a powerful sense of connection to the island's soul. Number 4. The Carnival. The Skyros Carnival is unlike any other. It's wild, emotional, and deeply rooted in the island's traditions. Every year before Lent, locals dress up in handmade costumes and take to the streets of Chora in a celebration that feels more like a living myth than a party. The most iconic figure is the Hieros, an old man covered in goat bells who stomps through the town making a haunting racket symbolizing hardship and the weight of winter. He is followed by the Corella, a young woman in bright clothes who dances lightly representing hope and renewal. Together they act out a timeless story of struggle and rebirth. There's also music, satire, and spontaneous dancing with villagers and visitors swept up in the energy. It's not polished or commercial. It's raw, heartfelt, and unforgettable, showing how Skyros keeps its spirit alive through rhythm, ritual, and community. Number 3. The Cuisine. Skyros' cuisine is a delicious reflection of the island's rugged terrain and deep traditions. Locals rely on fresh, seasonal ingredients. Think wild herbs, goat meat, seafood, and handmade cheeses. One of the standout dishes is lobster pasta, a rich tomato-based meal that's both rustic and luxurious. You'll also find la dopita, a fluffy fried dough often topped with sour local cheese, sometimes called Skyrian pizza. Goat is also a staple here, slow cooked with lemon and olive oil until it's melt-in-your-mouth tender. The island's cheeses like Sinotiri and Graviera are made from goat or sheep milk and often served with grilled as saganaki. Skyros also produces its own fava, a yellow split pea dip that's earthy and comforting. For dessert, locals enjoy honey-drenched pies, sesame bars, and spoon sweets made from preserved fruits. It's cuisine that's simple but soulful, shaped by the land and passed down through generations. Eating here feels like tasting the island's history. Number 2. Agios Nikolaos. Agios Nikolaos is a tiny chapel tucked into the rocky coastline of Skyros, and it feels like something out of a dream. Built right into the stone near the Sea at Puria, it's simple and quiet, but its location makes it unforgettable. Waves crash nearby, and the wind carries a scent of salt and wild herbs. The chapel itself is small, just enough space for a few people, but locals still come to light candles and say prayers. Around it, you'll see old windmills and the remains of ancient stone quarries, adding to the sense that this place has been sacred for centuries. It's not flashy or grand, but standing there with the sea stretching out in front of you and the chapel behind, you feel a kind of peace that's hard to describe. It's one of those places where nature and faith seem to meet. And finally, number 1, Hora. Hora, the main town of Skyros, is a maze of whitewashed houses, winding alleys, and bursts of bougainvillea that spill over the stone walls. Built amphitheatrically on a hillside, it feels like a living postcard, traditional yet full of life. As you wander through its narrow paths, you'll pass tiny chapels, family-run shops, and balconies draped in laundry and herbs. At the top sits the old castle and the monastery of St. George, watching over the town like a guardian. Chora isn't just beautiful, it's deeply rooted in history with layers of Byzantine and Venetian influence woven into its architecture and rhythm. Locals greet you with warmth, and the pace is slow, inviting you to linger. Whether you're sipping coffee in a shaded square or watching the sunset from a rooftop, Chora wraps you in its charm and makes you feel like you've stepped into a timeless story. This village has to be one of my favorites in all of Greece. Thank you for watching my video on the top 6 things to see and do on Skyros. This island really is special to me, so I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe, and don't forget to comment your favorite part of the video down below.